Here we are on the IEM European Server Qualifier for Katowice 2020. A great matchup from the round of 64 on the top left-hand side. Our red Zerg player is Scarlett, taking on the blue Terran in the bottom right, Polt. Game 1 of this best of 3. Winner moves on to the next round and continues their way through this open bracket qualifier. A lot of matchup to find here in the round of 64. Again, not one you find every day of the week. In fact, this matchup hasn't been played since 2016. I was just telling everyone just before this game, if you just joined us, that the last time this matchup was played was actually in the 2016 WCS Summer Regional Challenger. And actually, the last 4 times Polt played against Scarlett, well, he played twice in 2016, won 3-0 and 3-1, won 2-1 twice in 2014, and then also lost a few times in 2014 and 2013 and 2012. So really, you know, it's not really, I mean, I don't know so much of a rivalry, but 2 titans of the American scene. You know, 2 titans of the NA scene, players who have played in NA all this time were also always around in those WCS events. I'm honestly shocked they haven't played more. As we get into this one, guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, because absolutely zero doubt this goes on YouTube, then don't forget to hit that like button, do subscribe. If you're watching this in the Twitch chat, hit that follow button as well. We're getting this going, as we are going to be seeing the Reaper on the way out, about halfway done. Command Center from Polt dropping down in the natural expansion. As we're going to be seeing the Reaper going to be finishing in a moment or two. Hatchery about to finish up in the natural expansion from Scarlett as well. So as that hatchery finishes, a couple of queens on the way, 4 more Zerglings coming out, getting this ready to go. So Scarlett will open with the Zergling speed here. I mean, no surprise there. Looks like she'll move to a pretty fast 3rd hatchery. Just coming over and getting ready to drop down a 3rd hatch location, so getting that ready to go. Meanwhile, Polt just with the Reaper expand. Polt has shown us, with the last few days that he's been going into pretty much one build again and again, and it's that single battle cruiser into bio. He's used that time and time again over the last little while, so expecting a bit more of that from Polt as we do see the Reaper able to pick off the Creep Tumor there, so Creep Tumor will drop down. And this Reaper just coming around the top side, couple of queens coming out, Zergling speed starting on the spawning pool. We do have the CC morphing into an orbital command here from Polt as well, so getting that orbital up and running. Barrack's going to drop down a tech lab, starport building in the main base as well. The tech lab on the barracks maybe suggests something that isn't a battle cruiser opening here, because obviously a BC opening has to wait for the fusion core anyways. So usually you go fusion core, build a tech lab with the starport on your own. As the Rack's going to give the tech lab to the starport. Is he going to start like a super fast stim and a Viking? Is he going to change up his build? It would be a great time to after using the same style for the last few days. Scarlett's probably figured it out if she's met him on ladder at all. And Scarlett is going to start a 335 Roach run, so some potential aggression there, depending on how many of those Roaches she wants to make. For the moment, it's just going to be the fusion core, and the starport does go to the tech lab. Polt not going to start anything off of that again. You're just going to save the money for the battle cruiser. Battle cruisers are so expensive. You cannot afford to go dropping down, you know, units before then if you want to get the BC ASAP. We'll start at Banshee so that if Scarlet scouts, it looks like something is building. I'd be very surprised if this Banshee was finished. A lot of people have been starting this late, this cloakless Banshee, and then just saying, okay, nope. You know, my fusion core finishes up. Going to start up the battle cruiser instead now. Yeah, there's no super early Roaches here. I mean, a couple building now off of 41 drones. The reality is, off of a 41 drone attack, the BC will come out as the Roaches arrive. Unless Polt does go for the Banshee and gets this out. Nope, he's going to cancel it. He's just waiting a few extra moments there. So cancels into the BC. So this is going to be a Roach bust here from Scarlett as she sets this up. Hellions are kind of cruising around the top side. They haven't figured out about the Roaches yet, right? So that's kind of the first stage of this for them is Nelly gets a queen kill and will continue to pick his way through these queens. Second queen going low as well. Again, it's the Roaches moving out on the map that Polt doesn't see. That's an issue. Sees them now, though. Polt knows the plan from Scarlett. So immediately, what do you do about this? Double bunker on the low ground. I mean, there's not really any units to put in that bunker, though, is one of the issues. Barracks will start to make a marauder at least. BC's on the way. It's just about how much time can you buy. But, for the BC to clean this up, how much do you lose before the BC cleans out? Scarlett is going to be looking to try and initially here slow down the CC from building. But you know what? The Roach has changed to target and doesn't go for the SCV, so this SCV will actually finish the CC. That's already a good start to this here, just because now you don't have to worry about pulling another SCV over to deal with this. You don't have to cancel the command center. Wolof will fall down, but here comes the battle cruiser, already going to get rid of the first Roach there. And now we'll start to help out. Keeping the Hellions alive to help against the Zerglings is a massive part of this, as the first bunker taking a lot of damage, a little bit of repairing going on. The depot on the high ground will hold. As the bunker falls, the Marauder inside of it goes down. But this BC is playing cleanup here as Polt needs to lift up that command center though on the natural. It's gonna go down. Polt, what are you doing? No! Lets the CC be killed. And after finishing that command center, this should never happen. It's one of the big parts of finishing this command center. The fact that you can keep that alive and it will help you recover in the work account from this point on. Oh, what a kill that is for Scarlett, because that should have never happened here as the BC will save the rest of the game, but losing the orbital command in the wall-off, I mean, that's really just a mistake you can't make of this kind of level of play. That should be helping you right now. Land down, rebuild SCVs, get that work account back online, and pull you back into the game. Instead, Polt has to rebuild the third in his main base, and well, that's just so very painful as he starts up engineering base as well, looking towards upgrades. BC will now teleport across the map. Scarlett, with this opening, has added on a few extra queens, so now does have the queen count a little bit more comfortable to deal with the BC, but that won't stop it getting a few of these drones to start. And some of these queens low health from earlier in the game against those Hellions, so they make easy pickoffs of Polt. Although double spore in the mineral line is the bigger issue more than anything, and actually Polt is in trouble in terms of where to send the BC. Gonna be trying to pull it up to the top side. And is just going to keep it alive as it comes all the way to the top. A few more drones on the way out. A couple of Evo chambers dropping from Scarlett here as well in the main. And SBC. Setting up around. Ling's going to be picked away at here. A couple Hellions firing. The Marines still pouring out. 1-1 melee upgrades on the way in from Scarlett, then 1-1 from Polt at the same time, but he's just 30 workers behind. Scarlett's able to get into a very strong position here already, as we are going to be seeing the couple of Queens and the Lings hanging around on the third phase. BC takes a bit more damage before teleporting away down to the bottom right-hand side, so BC will get out of there for the moment, as we do have the Bane, and that's just about to finish up in the main. So that will be finishing very soon. Here's 1-1 melee upgrades coming in. And again, that armory just coming up from Polt, ready to start 2-2. So Polt's alive, but he's not in the greatest of spots. Scarlett already dropping the infestation pit, means she's already looking ahead to the future, looking ahead to hive tech, and moving in towards, all of that good stuff. And meanwhile, Polt, well, he did save the BC, keeping this alive. It's on 33 kills. Obviously, a lot of those were Lings earlier in the game. If you look at the units lost tab, only 6 drones picked off here so far. Lost 20 SCVs to that earlier attack as Polt will pull out toward the third base. And the battle cruiser coming up to the top side as well. A couple of Queens hanging out, dropping a few creep tumors down. And we are going to be seeing a couple of creep tumors starting to take some damage, but there's no scans or anything from Polt. He's just going to keep the BC around to the top. He'll use this BC almost like a drop, because there's no corruptors on the map, because it's not a lot of BCs, because he only builds the one. He's just going to use it to come in every now and again, pick away at a base, force some units to move over there, trade out a little bit, and then, when a drop would lift up and boost away, the BC is going to teleport back home, repair, and get ready to hit again. So just trying to use this BC as kind of an extra front of damage here throughout the course of this game. The first Queen already taking some damage. The Queen's pushing this BC back up into the main base. Just going to be seeing the extra Ravagers morphing in, more Banelings morphing, and just going to be having Polt coming down the left-hand side. These 3 Marines dropping off and just trying to start working his way through creep tumors, starting to pick off creep spread that may open avenues of attack for him later in the game. Scarlett's in no rush to get anything done here. She's just building into 2-2 upgrades, the Hive on the way up. For Scarlett, as this game goes on, she gets into a much better position, so she'll be very happy already. And as we do have the battlecruiser of Polt in the top right, is now pulling back, hasn't had to teleport away yet, and typically the BC sticks around until it teleports because, you know, at the end of the day, the worst that happens is that you just have to teleport, right? And then you teleport home low HP, you get healed up, and you go again. Scarlett is going to start getting ready for an attack, so she's going to attack in. Polt only has one sieged up tank, and, well, we're just going to see the numbers difference here from the fact that Scarlett built up into a massive amount of units off the early economy. The BC will teleport home to try and help out, and we'll start a fight. Scarlett actually saves her banelings instead of busting through that wall off. She's just going to start pulling them back. She might lose her fourth base. She's losing quite a few drones on the fourth, but at the same time obviously picks off everything on the third base. Natural expansion blown up. The actual natural CC is going to go down too. And there the Banes rolling in as Polt will lose the drop across the map. GG says Polt. Scarlett will take the game number 1 off of that early aggression, followed up with just much better numbers. Scarlett 1, Polt 0. As down in the bottom left-hand side, we go into game number 2. We start with the Red Zerg, who is up 1-0, representing newbie. This is Scarlett. And in the top right, just announcing the other day where he was looking for a team to represent in the upcoming year of the ESL Pro Tour, our blue Terran player. This is Polt. Now Scarlett's going to start this one up with a typical Scarlett kind of style, sending a drone up to the top side of the map. So a drone going to come adventuring across, a drone that's going to come up and look as though it wants to drop down a hatchery to proxy. That or she's just going to do something. I mean, she actually drops down the hatchery in her natural. So is there some kind of... What is the plan with this drone? Am I being silly? Am I forgetting something here? Is she going to proxy hatch her third hatchery? Or is she just going to use this as a drone scout? But at that point, why wait for the drone scout? Why not just go in instantly anyways? I'm not sure. Maybe just wants to check for proxy timing. He's going to come up with this drone and be a little bit annoying fighting the SCV. I'm very intrigued. It's not like Polt to proxy based on his recent tournament gameplay. And this drone now going to come around and, again, just be frustrating. Like I say, it's very weird for a drone to come across the map early game TVZ. Doesn't even block the hatch. I mean, at this point, doesn't even block the CC. At this point, you can't actually proxy hatch either, right? Like, nothing really makes sense with this drone to build something. It's actually just a scouting drone. So Scarlett scouts in the top right-hand side. Now, Reaper going to be popping out from Polty, and that will be coming down to the natural. Okay, she is still going to build a hatchery across the map. Like I said, it's so weird, though, to be building this early on. Now, see what this Reaper can see. One of the signs that the drone is still on the map might be the Reaper just sees no drone in the main or natural that has low HP after fighting the SCV. We'll see if he picks up on the fact that Scarlett is doing something a bit weird here. So in the end, the proxy hatch comes down. A little bit later than maybe expected, and after showing the drone as well, as Polt comes in and will try to chase for drone number 1, but doesn't quite get it. A few more Zerglings setting up here and taking some damage now as the Reaper will start to fire. A couple Lings thinking about maybe going up the ramp here, the Reaper hopping back down, and the other Lings, again, trying to get a bit of a surround there, but not quite being successful. A grenade onto the Queen, going to bop that away, and the roach drone from Scarlett will be coming in on the back of this main base as well. So as Polt scouts this, he's going to get in here. He's going to see Link Speed and Gas still mining, and he sees a roach drone. So Polt gets a really good scout. Really good information as to what's going on. He hasn't checked for the proxy hatch, which is where some of those roaches will obviously look to be building from here soon. As this hatchery finishes, you could also, if you want to, if you have the money to, build a queen. Push creep towards the front as well. This is a very interesting opening as we're going to be seeing the starport going to be lifting off, going to be moving to the tech lab. This barracks going to move up to the top side, and a fusion core dropping down from Polt as well. So we've already seen a fusion core now being brought into play also. This is getting very, very interesting. He's going to start building the Banshee. He knows about the roaches. This time he might actually commit to the Banshee because he knows about the roaches early in the game. The Banshee will help a lot with picking off those roaches. He's going to be so late to build a BC against this because this is only 22 drones, right? These roaches are hitting really early in the game. Thing is, the first roach has already shown up, and remember, there's also the Queen here from the proxy hatch. And because of the Queen from the proxy hatch, there is anti-air. Now, one Banshee beats one Queen. but it's just something that you're going to have to, now you can't just sit here and not, target roaches with the Banshee. You have to get rid of the Queen first. SCVs will pull up towards the high ground here. Banshee about to pop out. Polt has a Marine, no bunker or anything. Will slowly give up the natural. That's fine. You can give up the natural here. That doesn't matter too much. He's going to take a Corrosive Bile on the Banshee, and that means the Banshee goes down to the Queen. And now, the one unit that was maybe going to hold this off is in so much trouble. He saw its cloak, maybe realizing he's going to have to build more Banshees here. But yeah, imagine this Banshee doesn't go down. The Corrosive Bile hit is big. The Banshee would have picked off the Queen, would have been able to then start targeting down the Ravagers. We're just going to be seeing a couple more Corrosive Biles going up on the supply depot. Scarlett going to have a couple of Ravagers bopped over to the right-hand side now, and, well, Halloween's trying to do a little bit more, but it's really, really tough, right? I mean, the next Banshee finally about to pop out, but Polt just didn't have the right preparation for this. I mean, the units just showed up a bit too soon because he wasn't expecting the hatchery to the side. GG is called, and Scarlett will take a game number 2, 2-0 for Scarlett here in this best of 3.